Want to speak real Turkish from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at turkishclass101.com.
Hey you guys, welcome to turkishclass101.com. It's Seda again, and today we'll talk about business, must-know business expressions for a presentation. So I know that most of you guys are learning Turkish for business purposes, so you may need some vocabulary, some common expressions to use while prepare or to just listen to a presentation. So let's start. I want to start with some common verbs to use so you can pick and use them. Pick and use them. Pick and use them. Okay, let's check. Okay, the first one is to inform. Bilgilendirmek. Bilgilendirmek. It's a long one. Bilgilendirmek. Bilgilendirmek. So, the other one is to brief. To brief. Özet geçmek. Özet geçmek. Özet geçmek. Özet geçmek. And the other one is clarify. Clarify. This is a long one. Açıklığa kavuşturmak. This literally means that to kavuşmak is to meet, but with if you use it after so long, you don't see each other, then you met once again, then you kavuşursunuz. So this is that verb. And açıklık, açık means open, açıklık it's like clearance. So to make it to at the end of all the trouble, you make it open and clear and you just clarify it. Açıklığa kavuşturmak. It's very dramatic. Açıklığa kavuşturmak. And the other one is to stress. I can't stress this enough. Vurgulamak. Vurgu. It's coming from vurmak. Vurgu. It means that you are like, hey, look at this part. This is important. You are stressing. Vurgulamak. Vurgulamak. The other one is to handle. İlgilenmek. This also means to take care. You can take care, for example, you can take care of a business or your kid. So it's a more common word. İlgilenmek. İlgilenmek. So, outline. This is also a long one. Taslak çıkarmak. Taslak. Taslak is something like a draft. Taslak çıkarmak, to make a draft, to outline things. Taslak çıkarmak. Taslak çıkarmak. And the next one is to update. Actually, some of these words, for example, update, it's not very... I don't like to use English words while speaking Turkish, but a lot of business people are now using handle, brief, inform, stress, outline, update, report, these kind of things with Turkish accent, of course, to for business conversations. Where is the update? For example, they use update a lot, but I think it's better to use the Turkish words. If you are speaking Turkish, use Turkish. If you are speaking English, use English. That's my motto. Okay, so to update is güncellemek. If you notice the word gün, it means day. Güncel. Güncel means update. Güncellemek means to update. So you make it to today. That's the meaning. You make it today. So you renew it, you update it, and it's new. Güncellemek. And decrease. Azalmak. Azalmak. Azalmak. Increase. Artmak. Artmak. Artmak. And to report. Bildirmek. Bildirmek. Okay? So these are some words that you can use during the presentation. And now I wanted to make it like a presentation So first the opening, the things you say, then the outline, the things you say in between, and the closure for the closing of the meeting. So I picked a couple of phrases for each part. So you can pick. Of course, it's not limited with these phrases, but I can put everything here. So I hope this gives you an idea of how to do it. So when you start, you can of course use the regular common welcoming things like welcome, good morning, good night. I don't know, it's up to the time of the day, or like good evening, good morning, things like that. So you can say welcome, hoş geldiniz. You have to say hoş geldiniz, not hoş geldin, because hoş geldiniz is for the crowd, not just for one person. So you can start with hoş geldiniz, and you can say iyi günler, good days, or you can say günaydın, günaydın, günaydın, good morning if it's a morning, or if it's a late meeting you can say good evening, iyi akşamlar, iyi akşamlar, iyi akşamlar. It's, I think, good to start with a little chit chat. Turkish people love chatting, and the meetings can be long, with sometimes with dinners or breakfasts, and Turkish people love to eat and speak. So expect long meetings. We are not like very time-oriented people. In Europe and in more Western countries, you have a meeting time, and you generally stick to it. And Turkish people, we are like relaxed. We can be late a little, and meetings can be longer than you think. So be prepared. Anyway, you can start with something like I thank you for coming today. So it is, bugün buraya geldiğiniz için size teşekkür ederim. Don't worry, I will say it slower. Bugün buraya geldiğiniz için sizlere teşekkür ederim. Bugün buraya geldiğiniz için sizlere teşekkür ederim. So, you said your highs and you thanked them, and now you want to start, and you want to say, okay, let's start. Just that. You have to bring people together, because we are chatting all over the places. Okay, so you say, o zaman başlayalım. O zaman başlayalım. O zaman başlayalım. O zaman başlayalım. Then let's start, guys. So you want to explain in the beginning you need to explain the topic of your presentation. So you want to say, today I want to talk about blah blah blah. So bugün, I will just say blah blah for the empty part. Bugün blah blah hakkında konuşacağım. Bugün blah blah hakkında konuşacağım. Konuşacağım. And I talked about it before. You can check the other videos. For the future tense, cağım, ceyiz, especially for the first person, while writing, we write it like that, konuşacağım. But when we say, we just say konuşacağım, konuşacağım. It's like that. So use it like that. Konuşacağım. Bugün blah blah hakkında konuşacağım. So you just started and you want to outline or organize your speech. So you can say something like that. My presentation, my talk has 3 parts, or like it includes 3 parts, something like that, parts, section, whatever you want to say. You can say sunumum, konuşmam 3 bölümden oluşuyor. Sunumum ya da konuşmam 3 bölümden oluşuyor. Sunumum, konuşmam 3 bölümden oluşuyor. Something like that. So, and you start speaking, and the first one, the second one, and the third one, you can say birinci bölüm, ikinci bölüm, üçüncü bölüm. And you can start explaining like that. birinci bölüm, the first part. İkinci bölüm, the second part. Üçüncü bölüm, the third part. Okay? So, you may introduce another speaker or another colleague of yours to the people who are listening to you. So, you can say something like that. Now, from now on, she will be talking about this, something like that. So, let's say Sevgi will be telling you about blah blah. You just fill the blah blah. Sevgi size blah blah'yı anlatacak. Sevgi size, for example, what should we say? The end of the year report. We'll talk about end of the year report. Sevgi size yıl sonu raporlarını anlatacak. Sevgi size yıl sonu raporlarını anlatacak. Okay? Something like that. So you can, I want to add this because you want to recognize the knowledge of the listeners. You may say something like, as you know it, bildiğiniz üzere, or bildiğiniz gibi, bildiğiniz üzere, or bildiğiniz gibi. You can add things like that to smooth your way. And I told you this a little bit earlier. To make your point, you can say, first of all, ilk olarak, ilk olarak, ilk olarak, or second of all, ikinci olarak, ilk olarak, blah blah blah, ikinci olarak, blah blah blah. You can go on like that. Üçüncü, dördüncü, beşinci, we have a video about those kind of numbers. And you can say the last of all, like at last, son olarak, son olarak. Okay? So if you want to use some figures, charts, and you want to look, make them look at the charts, you can say, look at these charts. Şu tabloya, if you look at these charts, you would say, şu tabloya bakarsanız, şu tabloya bakarsanız, you will see blah blah blah. Blah blah blah göreceksiniz. Şu tabloya bakarsanız blah blah blah göreceksiniz. For example, if you look at this chart, you'll see that we are not in a good shape because of COVID-19. Eğer şu tabloya bakarsanız COVID-19 yüzünden iyi durumda olmadığımızı göreceksiniz. And you may use rhetorical questions if you like to use them. The questions that you are not expecting an answer actually. So you can just ask and answer it for yourself. How do we interpret this chart? How do we analyze this chart? What do we think about this chart? Something like that. If you want to ask the question, then you start explaining. This is what we should be looking for. Like you would say, bu tablodan ne anlıyoruz? Bu tablodan ne anlıyoruz? Or bu tabloyu nasıl yorumlamalıyız? Bu tabloyu nasıl yorumlamalıyız? Bu tabloyu nasıl yorumlamalıyız? So, then you continue. We should blah blah blah. Something like that. So, you can ask real questions, not just rhetorical ones. You can say, I will answer your questions at the end of my speech, so you make sure that they don't interfere with your presentation. But we are hot-blooded Mediterranean, Middle Eastern people, so that's not gonna ensure that you are not being stopped or something like that. Anyway, so you can say sorularınızı sunumdan sonra alacağım. Sorularınızı sunumdan sonra alacağım. I'll answer your questions. I'll get your questions after my presentations. So, or you can say, I can now answer your questions. I can now answer your questions. Şimdi sorularınızı cevaplayabilirim. Şimdi sorularınızı cevaplayabilirim. And when you're done, you want to conclude some way, and you would say in conclusion, like, something like that, you would use sonuç olarak or sonuçta, blah blah blah blah blah. You can finish whatever you want, and you should also thank people for coming, and you would just say thank you, teşekkür ederim dinlediğiniz için, thank you for listening, teşekkür ederim dinlediğiniz için, and that would be nice. And actually you can say one more thing. You can say I would like to finish, I would like to end with, I would like to wind up by saying blah blah blah blah. Sunumu blah blah blah ile bitirmek istiyorum. Sunumumu blah blah blah ile bitirmek istiyorum. Then you can say thank you. So I hope this gives you a little bit of idea how to make a presentation. Of course, it depends on the presentation and the subject and the meeting and the people around you, like how casual or how formal it is. But these were general examples, so I hope they helped you. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.